There we go. Now you guys talk.
Test.
Okay. Now we got it right. I had to do a mute kind of thing. Okay, I'm going to have to whack that out of there before we put it to video. But anyway.
Hola.
There we go. Now we're up and running with the sound, right? Oh, why does Discord and OBS and everything have to play with the sound settings every time you do an update? It's maddening. Anyway.
Because no one likes to work with each other?
Kyle, you do not have video. I guess you're aware of that. Yeah,
he might have went AFK.
Yeah, I think he may have.
Because that's normal when he just covers it instead of turns it off.
Yeah, I just wanted to be sure that it was something that he planned on having. Alright, so we are up for the first time tonight on our, what we are calling Waterdance. It is a, let me go over here to where they are so you can see what they're looking at. It is a, my version of Waterdeep Dragon Heist, which is by Wizards of the Coast. It's based heavily on that, but I tend to digress and do things that are my own thing, so it's not exactly as written. But it is a good look at what the Waterdeep Dragon Heist game is that they put out. So if you want to get it, have fun with it. So they are going to delve into the mysteries of the city of Waterdeep, which is an enormous sprawling town on the Sword Coast. Its main occupation is sailing and trading. They are based heavily on trading, and they are a city of wards, which are like districts or boroughs, and each borough or ward has kind of its own flavor. You have the royal ward where the castle is, and you have various different sections. You have places where nobility lives and the people who are scratching for a living live, but it's a very sprawling, enormous city. And as such, a great deal of intrigue happens in the city. It develops into a thing that if you have the right connections and you can cross the right palms, you're going to have a pretty good time in life. If you are poor and you can't pay the bribe or whatever, then you have to pay the penalty. It is also a city of laws. They call themselves the City of Splendors, and they have a lot of amazing things, but they have very rigid laws in this town, and they have a whole code of ethics, and every traveler as they enter Waterdeep is handed a copy of these laws, and they are expected to know them. And if you cross the wrong one, you will find yourself very rapidly being hauled off to prison. And into this teeming city of intrigues, we have 5 travelers that have come in. A couple of them have lived here all their lives or have come in a couple of years ago and know the city pretty well. A few others have come in of late and are just beginning to discover what is going on with the city. But for one reason or another, they have found their way to the tavern known as the Yawning Portal. The Yawning Portal is so named because smack in the middle of the tavern floor is an enormous hole that seems to go forever into nothingness. And it's pretty well known that it is a mysterious entrance into what is called the Undermountain. Very dangerous place, and the tavern keeper, the owner of the establishment, always warns new visitors, new people to the area that they shouldn't go into that portal because he says it's not the place for you uninformed types. You need to do your research before you even consider such a thing. He is a human, but of rather low birth, and he drags with him quite a few rumors of his own. They don't know exactly how he came to have the tavern. One set of people says he got rich adventuring and bought it with all of his funds that he had. And another one said he just got lucky with a few coins and happened to the very patch of ground where suddenly the portal opened up and he found himself sitting on top of a gold mine. But whatever the truth is about it, it's known that this shaft in the middle of the floor is dangerous. And it is said that things come out of this shaft. In fact, it's part of the reputation of the Yawning portal, because people come just in hopes that something will happen and come up out of that hole. Every once in a while something does. But it is home to nobles, shady types alike, and as such, being such a big tavern, there's brawls erupt every night, there's a lot of trouble. Tonight, amid all the usual frenetic activity of the Yawning portal, you see the usual barmaids, bouncers, waiters, whatever, wandering around, and of course tons of nobles and thugs looking for a bit of excitement. But fate tonight causes us to spot 5 faces among the others that somehow or other seem noteworthy. We have a powerful dragonborn. It's possibly a female, though with the dragonkin it's a little hard to tell. Somewhat youthful soldier type who seems to know his way around the tavern. He says hello to people and they seem to wave back. They know him. There's a cloaked and seemed to be rather melancholy bard with a lute strapped to his back that occasionally is talking with Dornan, trying to possibly get some work. There's an individual with a very heavily overshadowing cowl, and alongside him is his apparent companion, who is a hunched being of non-human but otherwise indeterminate race, who it seems to be wearing what looks like the tattered remains of a sail as his cowl. Very odd type of group that we are finding here. With that in mind, then, we go over to the Yawning portal to see what's going on tonight. And you can see the hazy, smoke-filled room of the tavern behind me with these things. And in front, we have the 5 people who we have kind of spotted as being a little bit more interesting tonight in the crowd of people. Let's start on the left with the melancholy bard and have him describe himself a little bit for his height, kind of anything people might notice about him.
That would actually be the bard. Not really melancholy tonight. He's pretty cheerful tonight. He's average height for a half-elf, and he doesn't hide his features. He doesn't wear a hood or anything to let people not notice his half-elven features of his ears. Dirty blonde hair that's tied back, but not into a ponytail since it's not long enough for it. What's very noticeable of him is his deep red long coat that is noticeably larger than what his frame would actually be. Probably made more for like the body size of an orc or maybe even a Goliath. And he's just walking around, strumming at his lute. The lute is also very striking as it's very beautifully made and not anything that was just found in like any cheap musical instrument stores or anything. And yeah, he's walking around. He's probably, oh hey, look, there's a barmaid I haven't tried to flirt with yet. Let's go over to her instead.
Next up on the list, we have the charismatic guard type. What should we know about this man?
Well, just like my fine bard friend here, he is a half-elf, though it's not commonly noticed about him, except for his ears. He's of like the bard. He's also of average height, with long black hair that he proudly shows off. He also has the deep blue-green eyes like the ocean, and he always seems to crack a smile. And he does so right now as he saunters his way in, a little half drunk already, apparently. And it seems that he seems ready to do something. Let's see what it is. And I should probably add what he's wearing. He's wearing worn leather with a blue coat underneath, as well as a long blue-gray cloak. Although most people don't see it, there's a strange emblem clasped to his cloak that looks like a hand with the crescent moon of Waterdeep on it. And strapped to his belt are some weapons.
Very good. Let's move over to the quiet Dragonborn who's watching everybody. What does the Dragonborn have to offer?
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing you, DM. I'm trying to adjust your sound on my end. My apologies. Could you repeat that one more time?
What do we see about the Dragonborn?
Simple black and I would say dark steel chainmail. A shield strapped across the back, large cloak covering most of the frame. I would say hood drawn up to draw less of an attention to the color of the scales. If a hand is seen, there is a signet ring on the middle of the left hand, on the middle finger rather, and stands at about roughly 6 feet tall, and just quietly watches, occasionally fiddling with the ring.
Next up, we have a dark, strange hooded caster. His face can't be seen very well. What do we see about him?
Well, our hooded friend here is on the taller side. He's standing at just above 6 feet and standing with good posture, ramrod straight. And he seems to be on the thinner side, like almost scrawny, although it's a bit hard to tell because he wears layers of robes and cloaks that cover every inch of his body. Like, there's not a scrap of flesh that can be seen on this man. And all of his clothing is in varying shades of blue. Blue cloak, aquamarine robe, sky blue sash. He seems to favor the light blue color quite a bit. The things that can be seen most strikingly on him is on the right shoulder of his cloak is engraved, embroidered almost, the 8-pointed Star of Chaos, and near his left shoulder, where all of his robes and cloaks tie in together via a clasp, on that clasp is the religious symbol of Mystra, goddess of magic. The first thing you would be able to see about him, however, would be his face, or lack thereof. His face is completely entrenched in shadows. You can see a vague outline of what may be a face, but all that can really be made out are his eyes, which glow within the darkness of his hood, and strangely constantly shift colors. No two of them are the same color for more than a minute or so, and they're never the same color that match.
Very good. He's an odd sort, and even odder beside him and sticking fairly close to him is this hunched being. If Kyle has his voice back, let's see what we know about this individual.
And yeah, no.
This is not Godzilla movie. I said this last night. We are not in Godzilla.
No, see, if I make fun of it, it won't happen again. No.
Lies. What? So
the strange hunched figure seems to be sticking pretty close to the dark hooded caster, and the most notable thing about him is he's wearing like like a piece of a sail him, and then what is visible underneath appears to be wrapped in either bandages or old tattered bits of cloth to make some sort of makeshift undergarment. And occasionally, like, a beetle goes like around the and from one part and into another part, and then he grabs it and eats it. And his features look like they could be almost dragonborn-ish, but there's just something like the jaw jets too far forward, the nose is too sloped back, the horns, move more forward on the brow, so it's very hard to place him. And there's a hint of a pointed tail underneath the tarp, but he's about 6 feet. He's about of a height with his companion, but is very clearly hunched over, and whether he is bulky or thin is hard to determine, as only his face and hands are really visible at any given time.
What I would like you to do now is we start kind of trying to figure out who everybody is. I would like you to give me your first roll for initiative. This is just to determine order of operation, not a fight. So everybody give me your first roll for initiative. We
do not have...
Yeah, you don't have a token on here. Hang on, I can change that in just a moment so that it will...
Thank you.
Let me actually give these guys the names that they are, and then it will work right here. Come on.
There we go.
Now I'll do caching.
Yeah! Nat 20, first roll of the night.
Hey.
Wasted.
Save. And Makari.
Oof, just right below you.
This is also no time to say that this is like Lyric Love Life.
And then
Shoots his load right off the bat. I swear this never happened before.
Love life.
Wow.
We are unamused.
We're going that route. Gotcha.
Friends,
Hey,
countrymen.
you want
It came up after you said that I wasted the 20. I'm like, this never happened before.
Friends, countrymen, congratulations. It has become
Tonight.
lewd.
All right, now
Tonight's
you can
rating.
select So select your token there on the screen and roll, and it'll come up on the thing. Or if you already have rolled, I can...
I'll keep that one.
Hey, that's fine.
But you can
No.
re-roll, but just change it back to that 21 that you had.
Yeah.
So like select your character and then re-roll. There you go.
Yeah. And you had a 21. Yeah.
I'll keep that one.
At least I act not tomorrow.
It's like everyone's rolling in the 20s. Well, screwed in the first round of combat, I swear.
Yeah, this is unheard of. We have everyone
this
in double digits.
This bodes poorly.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? If you want, just to keep things simple, so each of the groups kind of go in tandem, I'll take that 10 I originally rolled, so that way I go right after my pick.
I mean,
Okay, I was
technically, if
giving you all your highest. It doesn't really matter. It's just a convenience.
No, it doesn't.
If you, I'll put you back to what's your first roll.
That honestly doesn't matter to me. It's fine.
We're on the list. Let's do this.
Still isn't descending. Why isn't it? Descending.
Sorry.
There. All right. I had to click it 3 times for it took. All right. So let's start with Lyric. As the bard looks around, what person catches your fancy first? Who would you like to draw a card on?
Well, my luck flew out with the barmaid. Looks like she's paying more attention to work than me. So let's actually do a roll. How many we have? We'll do 1 through 4.
4, right?
We'll make it random. Number 1, of course, it'll be cash-in. Cash-in catches my eye, and
Okay, draw a cash-in card. The slider rolls up and down so you can see all the cards there. There's 5 sets of cards.
Where?
Over on the right, roll the slider up and down to see 5 decks of cards up and down the right side of the screen.
I do not have
don't.
cards visible.
You don't.
Mhm.
I have my screen all the way out.
Well, why are these not showing?
I don't know.
Because something or other has changed it so they no longer are set to show to players.
There we go. Now they're
hang
well.
on. Hang on.
Yep.
1,
Yep.
2. I don't know why
You're
these
saying,
turned
like, oh, we
off.
see
They
something.
were just fine when we tested them out. I didn't change it.
Right.
Now they are showing, which is typical.
Even roll 27 performance issues.
Oh, I thought roll 20 was a performance issue.
Pretty
Hey.
much, yes.
I love your system, but stop screwing around, please. Thank you. How do I? Oh, there it is.
All right, now do you see 5?
I see 5. All right, we will draw.
I see pictures.
1 draw,
Can I move this
and
up?
I should have a card.
Okay, based on the cash-in card you drew, that you find out some people telling you about this person, what kind of things might you want to ask? Anything you want to say about it in detail?
I'm sorry?
What do you have anything you want to ask your neighbor about based on the card that you have?
It is really tiny to see.
Yeah, if you click on it, you should get it larger on your. Are you able to? I don't know why this is showing up so different now. This is terrible. And it's reset all the GM things too. Even I can't see. What the heck?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I'll stroll by to I guess a nearby patron, and I'll ask. Let me see. How would I want to word this? I would word it. I'll go to the patron and I'm like, "Hey there, fine sir. That gentleman over there, he looks familiar. I've seen him before. Is he a holy man of some sort?"
No, he's around. He's been with the guards, I think, in the past. I don't know a lot about him, but seems to me he's more like a guard type. But he follows his own thing.
Huh. Well, then, by the by, do you have any requests? I'm taking requests right now as I hold up my loot. Everything's jingling. I'm even dressed for the role with stuff adorned on my wrists and my fingers.
You know Jenny in green?
Jenny in green. Let's give that a shot. And I go ahead and try to perform, I guess. Would that be a performance roll, or?
Yeah, give us a performance roll.
Oh,
Rarest roll, first roll.
performance is a 24.
You
Nice.
are impressing quite a few people. You find a few coins. We'll find out in a moment how many coins you get tossed your way on that performance. And we'll go on to cash in. Which person interests you of this group?
Well, since our good friend here, Brett, decided to do things his way with the random rule, I'll do the same. Let's see what I get. 2. So we go to this scaly person here. Let's see what I got. Ooh. So after getting a drink from the barmaid that Lyric failed to score with, he goes over to another patron and just leans next to them as the Dragonborn catches his eye and looks to the patron and says, "Hey, that one seems new around here."
Yeah. Came in just a few days ago. Been sticking to herself mostly, not bothering anybody. I hear tell sometimes their kind will eat people, so I don't cotton up to her much, but I don't know much about her.
Say that again?
I don't know much about her. I stay away from those dragon types. Okay, we go on to Nakaris. Which one is your given name and which one is your family name on her?
Nakaris is actually the family name? It's Nakri.
So what we would call her first name is Nakri. Okay, so Nakri, which one interests you?
Since people have already started the trend, I'll just follow in suit. It makes it a lot easier. Let's just make sure I have idea of food split. Okay. Let's see here. Having glanced around and heard the performance by the bard, I'm going to find out a little bit more about that one. So how do I do the card thing? Is it just one? I wasn't here for the test, so
You hover over it and you click draw.
Thank you. Oh, it's asking me draw how many cards?
One.
Only one.
Yep,
That's
just
what I'm
type in
asking.
1. Yep.
Thank you. Like I said, I wasn't here for the
The
test, so yeah.
Should have taken notes.
Wasn't here. So I'll lean back and observe for a moment, then nudge the nearest person and go, "What's his story?"
And you drew on which one? You drew on the bard?
Yes, Sunday.
I don't know. He plays pretty good music. He's been around a few days and he's been playing for his supper. But there's a lot of rumors been following him. I don't know about his types. They say he comes with a price on his head. Watch out when you approach him. And with that, we will go to Relian. Which one has your interest?
Brilliant would be talking with his comrade at a nearby table, I imagine, and he'd be doing most of the talking as the two converse, and his arms and hands would motion very excitedly. You can tell he's the kind of person who emotes very wildly as he speaks, and something catches his eye. He looks over to Cassian, actually, and he tilts his head, and as a barmaid walks past, he actually waves his hand and stops her for a second, and as he gets her attention, he says, "Pardon me, my likable, lean, lovely lass, but what's the deal with that fellow over there? He looks like law enforcement. You don't see many of those types in here. I didn't think they were welcome here. No, I did not. What's his story? Epic, yarn, bio, info, gossip. What's his tale?"
Okay, draw a card and see what she says.
Sorry.
For some reason, his deck does not come up where I can read it because it's got a black background on it, so I'm having trouble reading his. So that one I will just have to play by ear. His deck is set up wrong.
Yeah, I can't read the card.
And I'm going to do it this way. And since the card is black background and you can't see it well either, let me...
I don't see any words.
Yeah, it's there.
They're really tiny and black.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I'm going to zoom in here.
Are you able to see
Actually,
it?
if you click on it, it makes it full picture.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I see it now.
Just, if you can give me just one word for the card, it would help me know which one you're looking at, because I can't see it.
Sure, one sec. I'll just private message it to you.
Okay. I just prefer that you private message on, I can't change on Discord very easily because it cuts off the videos.
Right. One sec. What's the send to GM thing?
/W, and hers is the Crone, so just
No,
type
just
in the...
quiet, no, you don't have to do that. /W space GM.
Oh, I didn't know GM worked.
Yes. The more you know, Rainbow.
There you go, boss lady.
Oops, excuse me.
Oh, I got what it is. Okay, let's take a look at this. He was once, I heard he was once a very proud member of the guard, but he had a few problems, you know. If you'll pardon me, sir, I don't like to be talking too much about the patrons. He's a regular.
Perfectly understandable. So he's a washout, a dropout, a has-been. Interesting.
I don't know I'd say that exactly, but he's had a few problems in his day. Okay, we need Epiphany to make an interest drawing. Which one has Epiphany cast his cross eyes upon?
He turns and reaches out to grab the wrist of the nearest barmaid, and she...
Effie, what have I told you about scaring people?
Intoxicating liquid bringer, what will you tell us of gibbering sound screecher? Why does it make that horrific plunk tink sound?
Which one? Okay.
And he lifts he takes his hand away and just points a single crooked finger at the bar.
Sorry. What? Sir, that's music! Let go!
I did.
Draw a card.
Relion would be apologizing profusely to the barmaid.
Like, oh God, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know too much about the bard, sir. He keeps very much to himself, you know. He's very much the quiet type, and he doesn't talk a lot. He just sings. Pardon me, sir, I see someone needs a drink over there. And she dashes away.
We appreciate you. Gibbering sound screecher is not quiet.
Okay, do you wish to continue finding out more about these? We'll speed up the next round a little faster, and you just kind of draw cards for what you are hearing as the general conversation goes on, and you start striking up conversations about the various people. Let's just do a quick round here for each of you to draw a card. You can just quickly draw one and take a look at it. So let's go back to Lyric, Gore, and you can draw a card for the next one. Who are you going to draw on the next one?
All right. Yeah, the Dragonborn catches my attention next, so we'll go ahead and draw one. And then we're not doing the conversation again, or no?
Not a full conversation. I'm trying to speed this up just a little bit. But,
Sure.
yeah, and what I can do is the next person that you talk to says, well, I don't know too much about that Dragonborn, but she seemed to be a decent sort. She seemed rather kind-hearted. Saw her give a few coins to some people and things. I don't think she's a bad sort, really.
All right.
Next one is Cashin. Draw a card that you would like to have.
Cashin just noticed how that hunched creature was making a scene, so he wants to know a little more about that thing.
I got the wrong one. All right, so let's see. The guy next to you says, oh, you can tell just by looking at him. He's nothing but a curse. I tell you, it's a curse. I was standing next to him the other day, and I lost my purse. Just within minutes. I tell you, he put a curse on me. I know he did. Put a curse on me.
Friend Rill, we are low on rats.
We'll stop by the pet store on our way home, Epi. I told you to stop snacking.
We appreciate your generosity.
Not
Oh
great.
my
Draw
God.
another one.
Sorry. Oh, jeez. I guess just in scouting the room, I've taken an interest in knowing what's going on with the twin hooded figures, but I guess Relian being the brighter of the two is more
Everything's
easy to spot.
relative. Well, it's called rel. It's all relative. The Relian deck's a black one too. I can't read it. Darn.
Hold on a second.
I know what I did when I put it in. I
Oh, I
didn't
can
give
actually
it a
read it on the. I
background.
can actually read it on the small thing. One. Whisper GM. Bah, that's the beginning few lines there.
Okay. And
I can surprisingly I can actually read it in its small form.
the person next to you says, I don't know, but everything that comes out of his mouth is pretty strange. That one's insane. He's twisted, I tell you. He's just totally insane. Totally insane. I wouldn't have anything to do with him at all.
I see.
Relian, who do you want to draw?
I feel like my ears are burning, and suddenly I have an urge to set someone on fire. Specifically, their ears.
Your skin is not aflame.
It's a figure of speech, Epi. I'll teach you that later. But for right now, his eyes would actually turn to the Dragonborn, because don't see too many of them around these parts, and he's actually going to wave over a patron and ask him about her, if it is her.
Oh.
decent sort. And the dark ones usually are troublemakers, you know, but I've heard that she's not one of those that follows the dark chromatic kind of things. She's a follower of more of the straight ways. Seems to be a decent sort overall. I haven't had any trouble with her at all. And last up again is Epiphany.
Epiphany, after getting some information about the gibbering sound screecher, looks over at the guard-looking figure suspiciously, and tries to think back to anything he's heard about that one, and then stops another one of the bar people about it and says, who is that one? Does not look like it belongs.
Are you drawing from the cashing deck?
Yes.
Whisper me which card, a word or something to tell me which card that one is. Since it's a dark deck. Not in Discord, because I can't open Discord easily.
Oh.
Got himself in trouble, he did. He's the type that he thinks a lot of himself. That's why he acts like he does. Don't suppose he's a bad sort overall, but just got a little bit too much of himself, and he causes him problems from time to time.
We appreciate your assistance. And he picks up a beetle and slams it in the guy's hand.
Wow.
Epi, I told you, 15%. He plucks a beetle off Epi and hands it to the guy. There we go.
No, thank you.
We appreciate the lesson, friend Rel.
No, thank you. And this guy now has a lot of rumors to spread about the pair of you.
It would not be the worst thing said of me.
Okay. So I'm going to have each of you draw one more round of cards. Just all of you draw right now without regards to turn. Each of you draw the card that you would like to have one more time. So that you each have 3 cards in your hand.
Yeah, I could. Epi Rel knows a fair bit about Epi.
Lyric just continues to hear stranger and stranger things about the hunched being, that strange things go on around him.
Yeah, I'm just like, so I should make sure to have my pendants with me for if I'm ever around him. Got it. Thank you, friend. Would you like to have a song?
And Elliston, or Conrad, as they know you by, the one that you draw about him, gives him a kind of an air, apparently, of being kind of overconfident about stuff. He seems to be very sure of himself. And Lynn.
I was gonna draw from Relian's deck, but it looks like it's empty after 1 pull.
It shouldn't be.
And then Nokari's is empty after 3 pulls.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'll just pull Lyric one.
Try again, because I see cards coming up the top.
There we go.
Okay, so I'll let you guys read what you have of those. and you can kind of make what you want of these things. You may or may not be deciding that you are interested in grouping up with these people, but as things are going on and the evening is going on, you've drunk a few more of the ales or whatever you're having for the evening, there aren't many seats in the place, so you wind up sharing a seat at a table with strangers who half of them are in their cups or whatever, and the inn is getting more and more noisy as time goes on. You hear a very raucous group over in one corner, which actually seems to include the guard-type Cashin in the middle of it. There's a whole bunch of drunken gamblers and adventurers singing bawdy songs, and they're nearly drowned out by the strumming of the bard as he goes by. But suddenly everything in the inn is eclipsed by a shout. From the middle serving area of the floor, you see one of the bouncers, who was a large half-orc woman, suddenly being accosted by a male human who is wearing a very strange, he's bald, and on his head is a very strange symbol which looks like that. It's painted or tattooed on the front of his head. And the whole group of them suddenly grab the orc woman. Let me get rid of the symbol. They grab the orc woman and start shouting at her. And the one with the tattoo on the front of his head yells, "Ya pig! Like killing me mates, does ya?" And she is hit by a wild swinging punch from the bald male. And 4 other humans are behind him, and they lean forward, preparing to jump into the fray. The half-orc cracks her knuckles, roars, and leaps for the tattooed man, punching as she goes. But before you can see if any blood is drawn from anybody, or if anybody actually landed much of any of these punches, a big circle of the patrons surround them in audience kind of fashion, some of them cheering them on, some of them booing them, lots of shouts, lots of yells. What are you guys going to do?
I go and jump on a table, the nearest table that I can, to get a better view. You said that this was the half-orc is a bouncer of the tavern, right?
Yeah, correct.
So I would probably know her name then, since I've been trying to work here the past couple nights.
Her name is Yagra Stonefist.
Yagra Stonefist.
And Cashin would know her as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then, yeah, I just, I strum really loudly, and I'm like, "Come on, Yagra, you can take them on."
Ah! And she swings a punch. Let me clear off. I'll just leave your things on here and add them. All right. So, Lyric, you doing any other actions besides the strumming and cheering her on?
I guess I would actually tie that into a vicious mockery, actually, at the guy with the tattoo on his head.
Okay.
So there'll be vicious mockery. It's a wisdom save of DC 13, or take 2 damage, and he would also be affected by something else if he does not succeed.
Disadvantage on anything he does next turn.
He rolled a 14.
All right, so then nothing happens to him.
All right, Cashin.
first off, does the inn have a second story?
Yes.
All right, so Cashin will quickly climb his way up the stairs onto the second floor, where he gets a bird's eye view of the fight happening, and he's just keeping an eye on the thugs, seeing if they're going to try anything.
Very good. They have circled around.
He's also taking bets.
Okay, so who are you placing your money on?
He is placing 5 gold pieces on Yagra.
Okay, one of the patrons takes up the bet on and says, she can't handle 5 of them. I'll take that bet. All right, so 5 gold bet on Yagra. Nokri, what are you going to do?
I'm going to watch, fidget the ring for a second, then toss off the cloak and get into the brawl.
So
I'm going to go assist her.
Okay, so you're going in assistance to her. 1 second. You join the fray with her. Do you wish to take an action this round?
Not the bald-headed one, because it seems like that's going to be her main target of prey. But his underlings, I'm just gonna start taking. I'm not gonna draw any weapons, but I'm gonna at least grapple that one.
Okay, which one? Click it again. I was looking at something else.
That
okay.
one.
And I'm checking this is about double what they would be. They're within melee range pretty much of her, just out of her fist range. So they'd probably be about 7 feet from her. Let me put the ring a little closer.
I mean, I guess when I would have gotten involved, I would have come up from behind them type deal. Like, instead of getting in close next to her, because I've heard stories of orcs and their fighting prowess. You don't want to get too close if they're not sure if you're friend or foe.
Very good. So you guys are back-to-back fighting these, and you are trying to grapple, so give me a strength check, I believe it is.
Is it strength check or
athletics?
Athletics. Woohoo!
He rolls a 9.
I don't think it's very fair to actually attack a lady, despite if she's a bouncer or not.
Get out of my way, you big-nosed, scaly thing! And he starts struggling. All right, Epiphany, what are you doing?
He looks over at Fred Norell and says, "The longer this confrontation goes, the quicker guards will come. We should end it quickly." And he turns and casts thaumaturgy and starts uttering in the deep speech to try to make it. And it starts gesturing, so his voice just echoes throughout the entire place. And it makes it seem like he's casting a spell, and then he just holds his claw out towards the group of them and just says, "Leave or be my next meal."
Oh, dear. So are you trying to intimidate? Or
yes.
Okay. So roll an intimidation roll. Oh my! So are you aiming this at one person at 24? That's quite a roll.
It seems like the tattoo guy seems to be the leader, but he's more thinking that anybody who puts a tattoo on their forehead is probably like. So he's trying to get more at the guys who are probably just here for a quick buck.
Okay, so they can't even roll high enough to beat you on that. So they all pause and take a step back and look around behind them, except for the one that is in Nokri's grasp. They all turn around trying to figure out who said that behind them. They are scared and they don't know which way to run at this moment. So they will miss one turn on this because of their confusion and intimidation. The bandit, however, in Nokri's arms is going to make his try to see if he can get out of her grasp. That's the wrong one. These guys. 19. Roll your athletics again, see if you can hang on to him. Nope, he managed to break out, but he takes a step back too because he wants to get out of your range. But let's see.
Since he's moving, can I make an attack of opportunity?
No, because you were in more or less in combat with him because of your
Okay, I wasn't sure.
He,
so it's kind of like a disengage then.
Yeah, he draws a scimitar and kind of stands ready. Yagra herself, she swings, she steps in and swings at the tattooed guy with all her might, and boy, she packs a whale of a punch. If she contacts with him, she's really gonna actually do a little damage. Let's see what she does. She hits, and she does 4 damage to him with just a punch, where everybody else would have done far less. With her second movement, she pulls out a mace that's by her side and stands ready to swing it on the next round. Relian, what are you doing?
Well, seeing as his monstrous cohort has already made the action for them, he would just stand up from his chair and he's starting to clap excitedly, and he'd just say, "Epi, you're actually helping someone who isn't me. I'm so proud, satisfied, content, pleased. Why, I'm as happy as a troll with a toothbrush." Then he turns to where Cassian and he's taking bets, and he says, "Hey, I want to get on this 5 gold on the York." And then he's going to cast a spell.
Okay, what spell are you getting?
One of his favorites.
Fireball.
Not yet. That's coming.
And thus it was the Yawning portal came to a disastrous end.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, he quickly turns to Cassian and places 5 gold on the orc. And then he's going to target the 3 guys who the 3 guys who aren't the tattoo guy and the 1 guy Nokri currently has engaged. And
whoops. Was that me? That was indeed me. Sorry about that.
Okay, so you are doing Firecracker, which is magic missile. You are doing that on which ones? Specify which ones?
I'm assuming Nokri has this one pretty much engaged, so it's these 3, the 3 mooks.
Okay, the 3 mooks. Okay. So any particular order, or can I just assign it at random?
Nah, it doesn't matter. Just randomize it.
Very good. So that one is 4. Okay, 4-2-4 on those guys, which shakes them out of their confusion because they realize they just got burnt by something that popped on them as they were trying to figure out where the voice came from. The big guy is focused entirely on Yagra. He is ignoring everything else that is going on around everybody, and great, I have lost his sheet. Wonderful. So exciting. Somehow or other the sheet got pulled off of the listing. Okay, he has suddenly flashes 2 daggers that he has in his hands, and he slashes at her with both hands. The first one does 4 damage to her. The second one misses as she realizes what he's doing and manages to duck it. So she takes 4 damage. We are back to Lyric after she took 4 damage.
I start strumming my lute a little faster, a little more battle theme for what's going on. And then I see that he's pulling out daggers. I'm like, oh, that's not very fair of you. And I'll do vicious mockery to him again as soon as I get back on the correct sheet of it. And I think I have it set so that it should say, yes, it does. So DC 13 or take 4 damage.
He's doing just barely enough. He rolled a 14. He just barely beat you last time, too. He just barely beat you this time. Okay, so we are on to Cashin.
Yep, I believe that ends my turn. I'm not going to take a bonus action.
Cashin, what are you doing?
Well, Cashin sees that the one Nokri is dealing with is now brandishing a scimitar, so he decides that, well, yeah, that's not fair, so he gets up on the banister of the second floor and then does a dive bomb.
Leaps off
feet first.
Crowd surfing.
And he's aiming to hit the guy in the back of the head.
So you're trying to body slam him from the back of the head?
More like kick him. So what do I roll?
Just roll a d20 to see if you hit him first. And then I would call your feet a club. Okay, that's not enough to hit him. All right, so you zoom past him, but you land lightly on your feet as you land there, and he is startled for a second as he realizes somebody else has joined the fray. Any other actions?
Can I do anything else?
Not unless you have a bonus action.
Cashin just says, well, hello.
Okay. Nokri, you're back up.
I'm going to give out a slight bit of a snarl and look at the person jumping in and goes, I didn't jump in on her fight. And noticing this guy is bringing out a scimitar, it's just like, she's just going to shrug and go, you know, we could have settled this a little bit more delicately, but since you're bringing out weapons, she'll just unwield the warhammer, just going for two-handed.
Okay.
Nice.
I believe this is mine.
Whoa!
Wow!
Ow.
What is the
No F's given.
What is the dueling style category at the top?
Huh?
You've got 2 lines in there. You've got 8 damage, bludgeoning damage.
Oh, hold on.
That's only if you're wielding it one-handed.
Yeah.
Oh, I went fighting style in duelist, so I get bonus 2 on damage rolls with weapon.
Okay.
Only if it's one-handed.
Yeah. Oh no, weapon hand. Never mind. So just ignore that one.
Okay, so 8.
I had to reread the thing over. It's automatically put in there because I use the
Okay, so we'll just know to
built.
ask if you're using one hand or two hand when you do it. All right.
Still a hit.
He takes 8 damage, and boy, it rocks him. He looks like he's had his clock ticked. He's looking cross-eyed, so he will be disadvantaged on his next attack. Epiphany, what are you?
He is going to again use thaumaturgy to cause all of the lights around to change color to just solid blood red.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to stand and go to his full height, which is like 7.5 feet, with his arms still outstretched towards the group, and say, "You have chosen unwisely. Already your strength wanes."
Tell them I was cooking for you. Tell them I was cooking them for you.
You trying another intimidation roll?
Sure. This one's what's gonna suck.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh.
Hey.
Happy is a very scary fellow.
They
God bless
fail
that
it
+5, right?
miserably, and they turn and they really, I think at this point, the mooks that aren't stunned start moving away. They are running. They're trying to
You are
find their way
choosing
out.
wisely.
Trying to find their way out of the tavern. All right, Yagra now has a mace in her hand, and she swings it twice at this thug in front of her. And she hits him with the second attack for 3 bludgeoning damage. He just kind of laughs at her. A tooth falls out and he just grins, and you can see he's missing a lot of teeth. And when he grins, like, ha ha, that's all you got. Ha ha! Brilliant.
Let's see here. Oh, here's an idea. Okay, so this guy... Okay, so I'm not going to interfere with the she-orc's fight, but I'm going to see if I can give her a bit of an advantage, because I've got money riding on this now. I'm going to cast this, and I'm going to conjure up the image of a very angry-looking guard, which rarely on an epi know what they look like. And he just appears behind the half-orc and is pointing at the guy with the tattooed forehead very angrily, brandishing a sword.
Very good. So he's appearing to the tattooed man, right?
Oh, wait, hold on. Can it not do people?
No. Sound or an object.
Can you make it sound like the guards are coming?
Guards are coming, yeah.
Let's do that. Like I'm just going to fill the guy's head with the sounds of angry guards approaching to try to throw him off. And again, I think Epi and Rel would know what those sound.
Okay, so what's your spell say?
What are the actual words he's hearing?
No, what is the number of what's your spell say number?
14.
14? Mm-hmm. Okay. So he's got rather low intelligence, so I doubt he'll do much here, but let's see what he does. Yeah, he rolls an 8 in intelligence, and it startles him for a moment, and he turns and looks around to see if there's guards. So he is confused for a moment and will not be able to strike on his turn. Lyric.
We're going to go ahead and try another vicious mockery on the tattooed guy. I'm starting to get a little irritated.
He will have his roll at disadvantage this time.
All right. So DC 13 or take 1 damage.
He rolled a 20 and a 4.
Yeah! And so if he does make an attack, his next attack will also have disadvantage. And as for a bonus action, I see Cashin jumping into the fray, and I see him, "Oi, Cash! I know you didn't like my last theme song for you, so I worked on a new one." There once was a half-elf named Cashin the Clean who came riding into old Waterdeep.
Okay,
You can see, out of the corner of Lyric's eye, you can probably see Rel slowly aiming his hand crossbow at the bard.
And so that will be Bardic Inspiration for Cashin.
Cashin doesn't feel really inspired.
Take it or leave it.
Gibbering sounds creature continues.
Let me see. It should be 1d4?
Yes.
All right.
At your level, it is 1d4.
All right. Yeah, so you have a 1d4 Bardic Inspiration for the next 10 minutes, I think it works.
Well, Cashin,
10
seeing that
minutes.
a lot of these guys are now afraid, and that guy's afraid as well, he's just going to hop onto one of the tables and then yells out, "Come on, you fools, the guards are coming. If you really want to be arrested, now's the time to put your hands." And he rolls for deception.
Okay.
Bardic Inspiration should be able to work with this. I think it works for...
It
I
should.
think it's everything except for damage.
For some reason, that didn't seem to affect them, but they are already pretty confused from the other things. They roll pretty good on their counter roll, but you aren't sure whether it's yours that's affecting them or what. They seem very confused, and certainly with the sound of the approaching guards from the spell, it has a minor effect on them. It's just adding to the confusion, especially if they know anything about Cashin, he might be telling the truth. So they will continue to look around to see what's going on. All right, Nokri, what are you doing? This guy was knocked down, had a fell run. He is prone.
Oh, the guy just smacked up.
Yep.
Just gonna shake my head a little bit, turn over to the orc and go, want some assistance?
Yeah, I could probably take it with him. Come on, let's get him!
And I'll just turn and hit the dude one-handed.
Okay. So
Look at your face.
you do 13, 15 damage to him. You're off to
Is
a
this supposed
rolling
to be
start.
correct? Like, am I actually hitting 20s on this?
Yes. Yes, you are.
Did my dice break? What's going on?
You are our chosen weapon.
Epiphany, what are you doing?
So does it look like the other, like, it look like at least these three are starting to, like,
They are
head out?
Yeah, they are leaving. Right now you see their backs as they head off in all directions. The only one not leaving is the one on his hands and knees who got knocked down by nothing.
Yeah, Epiphany will take a step forward and he'll slowly raise both hands as the entire room starts shaking. Flee now, or stay and join the feast.
Okay. And roll me intimidation again, just to see how much more you add to their. Oh yeah.
In what language is this as well?
It's in common, but it's like common and intermittent with like deep speech.
So you
These
like understand
guys
every other word.
Do a
Yeah.
full.
I
on-
understand everything he's saying.
These guys do a full on, almost disappearing act. They do full dash. They cannot run fast enough to get out of here. They are gone. They abandon the fray. So there are only two guys
All right.
remaining in the fray. Reliant.
So, I mean, is it just me, or does it feel like Oppo and I are cleaning house?
We are here to do work.
Relian. Relian the Hellion. Sam?
Seeing as his other playmates have fled, and seeing as the half-orc is now accepting help in her fight, Relion, who is actually pointing his crossbow at the bard, says, "Oh, well, I guess it's time I use my most powerful spell. I cast weapon!
You cast what?
I cast weapon!"
Okay.
You can kill people from a distance, but it's not a spell.
And he's aiming for the tattooed guy.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Unfortunately, 10 does not hit.
Ah,
You
boo.
took a little too much time swinging that thing around. Brent is still at disadvantage, and he looks between the two of them and tries to decide which one he's going to attack.
Now, this is a bandit, right?
Bandit type. They appear to be a group of something or other, but they are thug or bandit sort of individuals, lowlifes.
I'm assuming they know the rules of Waterdeep, or is this like excluded from there?
Well, you don't know. There may be something to do with the tattoo, but who knows?
Okay, I'm
He
just curious on
reattacks Yagra, and he slices twice at her again. I think by golly, one of them actually hit. He did 7 damage to her. She's starting to bleed a little bit now. Lyric is up.
I am up already. Oh. We're gonna go ahead and you know what? I'm gonna want to get in on the fight as well now, seeing as now it's very safe to go in.
He lifts his loot and whangs him over the head.
No, the loot is actually very valuable. He'll slide it across because he has it like with a strap or whatever, so that it's easy to slide back when need to. He will take out his rapier and he'll jump over to make it to the back of the guy and give him a slash.
Very good.
I said with that, and that is an 11. I have a perfect
11.
reaction if it doesn't work.
Nope, it doesn't hit him.
It doesn't. So can I actually describe what happens? I have a reaction for this then.
Go ahead.
I go in, he sees me out of the corner of his eye, and he parries my blade. And I'm so cocksure of myself of going like this. I go like that, and he parries it. I'm like, my wrist.
Our heroes, everyone. We have the Hulk, the Dragonborn Hulk. We have whatever Lyric's supposed to be. We have Guard. We have the Radio Demon, and then we have Satan.
Hey, what about me?
We have the
Guard.
we have the high flying guard.
Let me get all of you.
I tried to copy Cash. I saw him doing the same thing. I'm like, you know what? That's easy enough. Ow, my wrist.
Well,
and that ends my turn.
Okay, Cashin, what's up?
Cashin is just shaking his head at Lyric and's like, no, you're supposed to go like this. And he draws his rapier and leaps off the table
embarrassing if he misses.
and stabs at the tattooed man.
Crit.
Yes!
God,
Wasted on your own petard.
But that's somehow that's just right for Cashin. You know, he's very sure of himself. And, here's how you do it, and he misses.
Yeah. This is where I just say, I was just trying to make a show of this. You didn't have to do worse than me.
So you moved. So did you aim at the bandit or at Crone, at the guy with the tattoo?
The tattooed man.
You were already on there, Epiphany.
I think he's talking about this one.
Yeah, I'm talking to 2 people at once there. Okay, so you moved over within range of him and just getting you kind of in the general idea. I've got Epiphany and Lily kind of up on the second balcony sort of thing. Okay, so we are up to Nakri, who will knock some heads again.
I'm just gonna look between the two of them. I think you both need some training. Oh my goodness!
Third crit.
Yes, come on. This is where we need that. We need you
no,
to
she
one up.
misses
Don't blame
too.
me. I'm drunk.
Yeah, if I miss, I'm gonna be so sad. No, she's just.
I'm torn now.
She's just gonna look at the guy and just kind of put her left hand across her chest and just kind of glance down at the ring. You're in a lot of trouble.
Oh,
so
no.
will you be when they hear about what you've done.
Question though, would I get the advantage because I'm assisting the orc, and that would technically put me with an ally?
Do you have the ally ability? You have
flanking.
You have
No
pack
flanking?
tactics?
Okay. No.
No.
I just figured I'd ask.
She has pack tactics, but I didn't think you did. And she's about to use it. So, yeah. Epiphany.
I'm gonna go with this was done basically because like I'm just mortified by how you two were performing around me. It was like, oh god.
You didn't want to show them up. That was very nice of you not to show them up.
Going with the mortified. The
Epiphany, what are you doing?
What's this other guy over here doing? Is he like out?
He's like crawling around on the floor with his bell.
His bell was rung.
He is super stunned. He was the first one I like basically dropped to the floor.
There's almost
Okay,
nothing left.
is he functionally at 0 or is he?
No, he is. He might get up if he can roll high enough, but he hasn't yet.
Okay. And are we up like on a balcony?
Yes.
How high up?
1 story, so 15 feet.
Okay. And he's trying to crawl away.
Yeah, he's a little lost and confused, but he is trying to get out of the fight.
I mean,
Okay,
you got a
this
book of
guy-
bringing him here.
So I'm trying to get the lay a bit. Like how beat up is this guy looking?
He has taken enough hits that a lesser man would have been down already, but he's just grinning his half-toothless grin at everybody like, come on, you wimps!
I have to go for it.
Yep,
Epiphany leans over the side and looks down. Everything is still shaking. His voice is still echoing if he speaks. And the lights are still turned blood red. And his throat just bulges out. And he spits acid down.
Oh, whoa.
Isn't it everybody in the line, Cash?
1 damage!
Is it everybody in the line?
It is a single target.
Okay.
He has to make a dex saving 13 or he takes 1 acid damage.
Okay.
I was about to say, 'cause if there's a acid damage being thrown around, I resisted!
17 dex save.
Yeah, he saved. That's all I got.
Happy, what have I told you about chewing your food? There was a hand in that vomit.
We apologize, Friendrel.
Yagra grins at her friends, and she launches in on this guy, and she wails that mace at him a couple of times. And she has advantage because of tactics, so she does 2 hits on him for a total of 13 damage on him. Now he's starting to look a little injured. Brilliant.
Relian is looking at his crossbow, like in a bewildered state, like, weapon failed me. Oh, wait a minute, I know what the problem is. I was aiming at him. He turns slightly to the left. Let's see what happens now.
Oh my god! I feel bad if you just hit one of us instead.
I think I hit either Nogri or Cashin, depending on where the bolt goes.
Let's see, we've got 3.
Shoots
and
the
then
orc in the back of
1,
the head. She
2.
dies instantly.
Yeah, in the clock fashion, 1 being Nokri. Let's see.
Oh.
He almost hit Cashin, but what I want is for Cashin to give me a dex save, please.
Oh, thank God.
And you managed to dodge this thing. You just happened out of the corner of your eye to see it. And at first you think somebody else is in the inn that is attacking you. And so your first impression would probably be that this guy has some more cronies in the bar. So you can use
Relian
that.
immediately hides his crossbow.
I saw that.
This guy.
Friendrel is not trying to hit you.
He's just legally blind.
Alright, let's see. I think he hit her. Yes. He did some hits, but he's at even with disadvantage. He hit her.
That is not your best
So
spell,
he hit
friend.
her with 8 more damage. And she, even though she's looking like she's taking some pretty good hits, she's just grinning like it's all in good fun. Lyric.
I'm not so confident now that I can hit him with the blade, but we will go ahead and try again. Hey, there we go.
Okay.
I'm like,
Where would you have skewered him for just 4 damage?
It's more than what I did with my vicious mockery. That's all I need.
Oh wait. Oh wait. Oh wait.
Oh, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I'm the counterweight to Lynn's nat 20s. I'd like to believe that.
Did you, with your little 4 piercing damage, did you get him in the armpit, or where'd you nick him?
Oh, I mean, I'm fighting behind him, so it would probably be a slash across the back.
Okie doke. Cashin, let's see if you can do something to him.
Well, Cashin's now grumbling about
Other people shooting at him.
about a hostile environment, so he keeps focus on the fight and tries to slash at the guy's lower parts, trying to keep him from escaping if things get worse. And
That is definitely a hit, and a sneak attack because of comrades, I assume. That's why the sneak attack. Okay, just 1 second here. I gotta do something.
Relian turns to Epi and says, Epi, take note. That man broke the gentleman's code. You never aim for the veg and too big.
Alright, so he took 10 more damage, and now he's looking pretty beat up. You hear a voice from behind you. Let me get him actually into the turn order so I know when he's going to be talking. Just a minute. Just a second. I'm doing something.
The DM is setting up a thing. Oh no.
Oh my god.
oh god, it's the popo.
Alright, you see a dark man. Now, Cashin and Lyric know who this man is. He is not an enemy, but the rest of you aren't entirely sure who he is. Alright, Nokri, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm just gonna work for the unconsciousness. It's like, this guy deserves being in jail.
Miss. About Epiphany?
Yeah, all my good rolls have been used. It's official.
Right.
Would I be able to get to this guy with a dash?
I would say it would be doubtful because you'd have to come down the stairs and around into the center of the floor.
Yeah, so would I be able to get there with a dash, or would I be like here?
I would say you would just be like part way to it, yeah. Like 2/3 of the way.
Yeah, so he moves, makes his way all the way down, and then like over dramatically points to the guy like on the ground crawling away and says, "Judgment has not been passed on you yet. Stay where you are."
This guy trying to get away, now he can't. Why don't you cast him?
So I don't know if you want another intimidation roll or not.
Yeah,
but...
yeah.
Woo! It's fading. Same trick's been used too many times this fight.
Yeah, me and Lyric and Cash has to make it up now.
He tied you, but it goes to the caster or the wielder, so you actually intimidated him, and he freezes in place because he can hardly see, so he's afraid something's about to hit him. Alright.
Yeah, Lyric probably sees this massive hunched thing making its way down the stairs, screaming at this one guy, and his voice just echoing across the place. And the floor is still vibrating.
Zagra makes a final attack with advantage, and she hits 2 times for another 8 damage. This guy looks really bad now. Blood is streaming out of his mouth. When you hear a voice come from behind the group, "Alright, split it up, this is enough, I've had enough! Everybody, back to your seats!" And surprisingly, the crowd turns around and looks, and they immediately stop, and so does Yagra. She immediately stops and turns and looks, and Cashin and Lyric would recognize Dernan, the proprietor of the Yawning portal, who is coming in and is like spreading with his arms, pushing everybody aside. All right, you! And he points at the tattooed guy. You and your boss should know better than this. You don't pull this in my inn. Get you and your cronies out of here, and Dan's going to pay the bill. Do you understand? I'll be sending him a bill tomorrow. You will pay for all of this damage. Out! And without another word, the guy immediately turns and walks away. There's a spit from Yagra as he goes, but he ignores it and leaves the premises.
Cashin, having redeemed himself in the end, just keeps cleans his saber and then puts it back in its scabbard.
Dernan says to Yagra, drag him out, and he points to the guy who's confused. And she goes over and grabs him by the collar and drags him out of the bar.
I'll sheathe my rapier as well. And I'm actually going to wait for Yagra to come back.
And in a few minutes, she does, dusting her hands and wiping the blood off of her lip from where she got smacked a few times and cut. And but she's grinning. She looks like she is thoroughly it. The guy upstairs by Eurelian who was betting with Cashin, he goes, "It was a tie. Nobody won. Dernan stopped the fight."
I only see one person in this tavern, though.
But she didn't win. He just got set out by Dernan. I'm not going to pay that 5.
At this point, hearing he's not going to get paid, Relian would saddle up to this guy and sling his arm around him and says, "My good friend, now that's not a very sporting attitude. That's not a very good idea. No, sir, no, sir. Why, I know a guy who didn't have a good idea soon. Now, you sure you want to not pay out?"
And at this point, Epiphany is clambering back up the steps, picking his teeth. Do we have payment, friend Rel?
Well, we should have. I put down 5 gold. Now, good sir, what would you say were the odds on that fight?
It was 1 versus 5 when time of betting.
I ain't got that kind of gold. I'll give you 5.
Pay!
He fumbles around in
God.
his pockets, and he is able to come up with, let's see. Let's see what he can. Oh, he's able to dig, when he pulls all of his pockets inside out, he's able to give you another 5 gold. So he's got 10, and he just shoves it out at you. Here, take everything I've got. It's all I've got. See? And he shows all of his empty pockets.
Now, see, good sir, now that's a sporting attitude. You remind me of a headless chicken I knew once. You have yourself a great night.
Yeah, you too. Yeah. Bye.
Take this. Gives him a beetle.
So, Relion would pocket 5 of the extra gold, and he'd pass on to the other 5 gold to
Cashin.
You weren't in on this.
Yes, he was the original
He was the
better.
one that started the bet.
As the guy ran past Cashin, he would just run out of the inn. As he ran past, he would take out an item, a piece of kind of cheap jewelry item that's worth about 5 gold. Says, the other guy got all my gold, but here, this is worth something, and he'll throw it at you for your part of the bet.
Cashin will quickly catch and say thanks, and just a reminder, he's the one that intimidated you, not me.
So
let me hide the cards.
Yep. You said Yagra is. Oh, wait.
It doesn't work that way, so let me do a show because I can't recall when they're already off the board. So let me recall.
Are we counting that as the spell cast? Because he just said pay, but I don't think any save was actually made.
Oops.
Yeah, I'm just saying that he just.
Okay.
Forgive my phone.
No forgiveness for the phone.
Oh, it's been a long day, and I forgot to mute it. So.
We should assist with repairs, friend Rel.
I'm more interested in getting my crossbow bolts back without anyone noticing, but sure, let's use that as a pretext.
Gather the bolts, we will fix them for you. Perhaps if we...
Durnan approaches the group of you. Yagra goes off to clean up and keep her job going and so forth.
I go after her, actually.
Okay, what are you going to do when you go after her?
Without any expectations from her, I run up to her and I jump into her arms, Scooby-Doo style, to see if she'll catch me.
Let's see how good she is on her quick reaction here. Let's see what she rolls on her dex. She's 19 on her dex, so she probably, even though startled, she probably caught you. Oh!
Yep, I go like that. Oh my God, Yagra! I was so terrified of what was going to happen tonight. If you feel the need to ravage my body, you may do.
She laughs heartily, and she sets you up, swings you down on your feet, and slaps you so hard on your back. Give me a strength save. She rolls.
Oh no!
Well, she didn't do it as hard as she could have. She only rolled a 9. So give me a strength save. Yeah.
Oh hey!
Yeah, you managed to resist her love pact. She says, "Maybe later, beautiful." And she goes on.
This has happened before.
What?
This has happened before between them.
I don't know if it has or not, but it did tonight. But anyway, she walks off to clean up, and Durnan steps into the group of you. How many of you are gathering in the center of the floor? Are you all down there, or what's up?
Yeah, Epiphany is just, he's down there, but it's, it's just starting to, he just is, grabbing some table legs and mending them back together.
Cashin is just trying to look innocent.
Relian is close by. Relian is close by to Epiphany, doing much the same without the mending part. He's trying to straighten things up, but he's also trying to retrieve his crossbow bolts as stealthily as he can without anyone noticing.
And you're able to retrieve half of them, of what you fired. So if you fired 2, you can retrieve 1. Probably the one.
Could he retrieve the broken one and I can fix it later?
You can. How many did you fire?
2.
Yeah, you can retrieve 1.
Oh. Well, I'm going to take the broken one anyway, just so nothing can be traced back to me.
Durnan motions to the group of you to gather in to him. He wants to talk to you. So are you going to go talk to him?
Yep.
I'll follow along, but first I'll hand him both. I'll hand him 5 gold and a poultice for healing, and 5 gold to fix anything I may have broken in this whole thing. She wasn't sure what she actually hit, but and then the poultice is for the barmaid for her injuries.
Sponsor.
Thank you.
Sponsor,
You're a decent sort, not like those thugs. They're just all part of the guild, and they think they own the town. I let them go for a bit, but when they start breaking up the bar, I'm not going to have any of it, you hear? I know you tried to stop it, and I thank you for it.
Sure thing, boss.
Does Cashin know what he's talking about? Do I have to roll anything?
You would clearly know when he said Zan's going to pay for it. I don't think I don't know. Let Relian, Epiphany, and Cashin roll an intelligence to see how much they remember. Just give me a straight intelligence roll or a history roll, whichever you want.
We are too busy mending things.
The
The more things we mend, the less you have to spend the excess
Relian
coin
can
on.
roll history or intelligence too. Just a straight. You don't have to do intelligence save. Just a straight intelligence roll on the left side of the sheet. You just click the word intelligence on the left side of the sheet. But that's fine. Others.
Whoops.
It would be 17, so it'd still be enough. I'm not worried about it. And yeah, that's just barely enough too. Epiphany doesn't. It hasn't sunk into him yet. But Relian and Cashin, you need to change your name on the game to Cashin here, so that I don't keep calling you Ellison. But the two of them know what the Zan Guild would mean, and you would have a connection to it. If you do not know right now, I will fill you in later, but you would have heard about them fairly quickly if you'd spent any time. They're pretty well known. All right, and you would also know about the tattoo that he had on the skull. So yes, you would know who they were and why they could get away with what. Anyway, Durnan motions you all in, and when you get close enough to him that he's not talking loud enough for all the patrons to hear around you, he says, your actions, they kind of got some attention from somebody that I know pretty well. He's a decent sort, even if he is a dwarf, and he's got a bit of a reputation for, knowing a few things. He'd like to talk to you at his table, if you would, please. And he motions over to a far corner, and under a lamp in the corner you see a dwarf sitting at a table all by himself, well-lit corner, but nobody has joined him at the table for some reason.
Roll perception. Can I roll perception? Can I roll perception to see who he is? Hello?
There's the man who is waving at you. I heard you, but sometimes I have to push to talk, Ellison, and if my fingers are being used on other things, sometimes there's a delay on whether I can answer you or not. We've got a monk that isn't here right now.
Does this one offer work?
Are you saying this? You're still at Durnan's. This is the dwarf waiting, and he says, his name's Volothamp, but he probably will offer you something. I never know exactly what he's going to offer. He's an adventurer of his own right, writes a few books that few people read around these parts. Might want to go over and see what he's got to offer.
I don't think Cashin's going to even need to roll to know who he is, because it's Vol.
He's well known now.
So yeah, the promise of a job, and meaning the promise of money, attracts him, and he begins to approach him.
I follow Cashin. I trust Cashin.
He waves at you with one hand and swings a tankard at you with the other, and he motions to Durnan and he says, "We'll have one more round of whatever they've been drinking. I'll buy them around." So each of you, if you were buying drinks for yourself, you find a drink brought over by a barmaid that's another one of the same thing you've been drinking. He motions to the chairs around the table. Seat yourself, I've got a bit of an offer for you. Volothamp Get Arms, the name. Most people just call me Volo. You might have read a few of my books. I've written a few things. I'm working on something now. And he points to a manuscript, big fat manuscript, 3 pages in it. Haven't quite gotten all the information yet, but I will soon. I just need a little bit more. But that has nothing to do with what I'm trying to say. Got a chore I'd like to ask for you to do. Are you in? Have a seat.
Cashin takes the seat opposite of Volo and quickly relaxes himself as he takes a drink and says, "So, what does the famous Volo of Volo's Guide have us wanting to do?"
What are the rest of you doing before I say what he's going to say?
All right.
I'll politely thank for the drink, then sit down before looking at Cassian.
Yep.
I don't think you can speak for the rest of us since we've all been called over, even if you may be so eager to jump at the opportunity for work. But I would love to hear what you have to say, sir.
Ralph, what are you and Epiphany doing?
Relion would take the offered drink and sip it a bit, and he would look to Epiphany, and the two would share look and understanding. Ro would sit down, but as he's close to Volo, but as he does so, Ro is actually going to try to take a peek over Volo's shoulder or across the way and see exactly what's in this manuscript he's reading.
He's writing.
Writing, but it's folded into a folder, and you see a few pages sticking out of it that describe some kind of strange monster that you've never heard of before. It has a kind of a rough sketch of a horrible-looking thing, and he's apparently writing research about various creatures of the world and what their likes and dislikes are, or something. It seems to be a whole pile of various monsters.
Yeah, Epiphany will follow Relian over, and instead of sitting in a seat, it'll just crouch down near Rel and put its claws on the table. Just
okay, and what's Lyric?
Lyric would sit next to Cash, and as soon as the barmaid comes, takes his drink, and his attention starts to move away from the dwarf to the barmaid.
Volo just grins, and he strokes his mustache, and then he adjusts his hat a bit onto his head, tightens his scarf, and kind of thinks about what he wants to say for a bit, trying to choose his words. He says, well, as I said, I'm a chronicler, I'm a wizard, I'm a celebrity, I guess. I'm at your service. I trust you've noticed there's some mite of tension and violence in our city these past 10 days. I haven't seen so much blood since my last visit to Baldur's Gate, actually. But now, well, I hate to say it. I don't quite rightly know how to say it. I've misplaced a friend.
Say what?
Well, in all this violence of late, I seem to have lost a friend of mine. His name is Floon Blogmar, a good friend of mine, but he's got more beauty than brains, and I worry that he might have taken a bad road home the other night. Maybe he was kidnapped, or worse, I don't know. We won't talk about how that happened, but I'd really like it if you track him down with all due haste. I can offer you 10 dragons apiece now, and 10 more if you can bring him back alive, I hope. Please rescue Floon.
we will accept.
I will accept for myself.
Sounds interesting. Any idea what road he took? The north road, the south road, the long road, the low road, the dead road, the yellow brick road?
We accept.
Well, It's you see, I met up with him for drinks, and we were drinking quite a bit and gambling at an out-of-the-way place. The place called the Skewered Dragon. It's kind of home to some shady types, but we thought everything, I mean, with us being us, we thought everything would be all right. And then I got all the information I needed from Fluen about my manuscripts, and I left. I was a little fuzzy at the time. I don't rightly remember, but I think that you maybe if you started at the Skewered Dragon, it's a tavern between Net Street and Fillet Lane in the Dock Ward. And somebody better be responsible for taking notes.
Mm-hmm.
It was Skewered Dragon and the Dock Ward at Pilot Lane and what?
Yeah, Fillet Lane, like a fillet between two rounded areas, and Neck Street. I'll write it here.
Thank you. Like, oh, fillet and net. Okay. Huh.
That's not a fillet, that's fillet. That's two L's. Fillet only has one L.
Never mind. That's my bad spelling on my
fillet
part.
is a filled area, like if you are caulking in a bathtub and you smooth the caulking, that's a fillet.
Oh, okay. More you know.
So it implies that it's like a craftsman's street kind of thing. But he says that might be the best place for you to start, because maybe they saw him leave and they have some idea where he went. I really kind of feel the blame for not seeing him home that night. I'm embarrassed to say, please find my friend. So each of you can add 10 dragons, which is 10 gold, to your supplies.
Before anyone speaks up, I'm going to slam a fist into the table to kind of quickly snap their attention, and then look at the rest and go, he asks us all for assistance, and while I am most willing to give anything to assist someone who's lost a friend, I know very little about you, and I'm sure you know very little about me. Are we working together on this, or is it every man for themselves? I think this is something to be settled here and now before we start departing.
If we want to work together, we can work together. It's not like it's not like we're in competition.
See, that's the point.
We
know
would-
nothing about each
We
other.
we would enjoy having Brutal Smasher in front of us.
My attention is still at the barmaid.
But I need to find out if Lyric has gone off so completely into thinking about the barmaid that he doesn't know he's been offered something.
He knows that there's gold in front of him.
Okay, so is he going to join with his motley crew?
So that's 2. Potentially 1 more.
And Epiphany said that he would like having you in the front line, so he's sort of
Oh no,
halfway.
that's she's counting. She's counting Epiphany and Rel as like the 2, Cassian
Okay.
as the 1, and then she's just going to lean on the table hard and look at Lyric.
Who's not even looking at her. He's
Okay, so there's a pile of gold in front of Lyric, and he is looking at the barmaid.
I have my hand on the pile of gold.
Damn it!
I'm going to stick a claw into the top of his hand.
Oh! Whoa! What?
Attention, please.
I got maybe
Gibbering
you're
Screecher
thinking-
continues gibberingly screeching.
Are you working
He seems to
with
do that a
us,
lot.
Or are you flying solo?
He can fly?
If
I
I
can
throw him
fly.
hard enough.
Please don't. I'm sorry, I wasn't even paying attention even the littlest bit. What's going on now? I just know that they're in front of me.
I'm making sure that money does not walk away undeservingly.
I'm joking, by the way. I heard Master Volo here the entire thing. Yes, Volo. I'm sure Cashin will vouch for both of us that will help you. Is that fine? Can I have my hand back?
I'm not pressing that hard. You could have moved it any time.
Before we go, Master Volo, I must ask a question.
Aye, what's that?
Why would you assume he was kidnapped?
As I said, it's a rough part of town, and well, my friend's kind of a well-known noble, and he'd be worth a lot of money, and it's because of all this bloodshed in the streets. I'm afraid they might have seen him as a potential for money. I don't know.
Does he have many enemies? And forgive me.
Well, I suppose the same as any noble, but he's got lots of connections, which usually they'll stay away from him, and it doesn't seem that this night they did. You see, well, the way of it is, he's the son of one of the lords of Waterdeep. It's usually enough to keep him safe, but it wasn't that night, and I blame myself.
You cannot have eyes everywhere. Do not blame yourself too hard. We will. It sounds like we are in agreement to work together, so we will see what we can find out.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm sure you'd garner some favor with the lords themselves if you found Lord. Well, if you found the Lord's son, yes. The Lord, he's out of town for the time being, and he doesn't know what's transpired, and I'd really rather that the son was back before he returned, you know?
Well, we'll find him.
And with that, we will leave it at this point. What are you guys going to do as you depart from Volo?
I'll take my share of the funds.
Very good.
Aelith is going to down the contents of his drink and then stumble away.
Very good.
With his gold.
We have been to this location before, yes, Friendrel?
We've been everywhere once or twice, Epi. I'm sure we can find something. And if not, well, I'm sure we can scrounge something else. Strange word, scrounge. Have you ever thought about the meaning of scrounge?
Dark rats are saltiest.
Shall we meet up at this skewered dragon? Say, in a few hours, see what we can find on our own? We could cover more ground that way.
Oh, what time of day is it?
It's night. Yeah,
Maybe in the morning?
Next day.
So you guys will go to whatever arrangements you have made for your rooms. If you're paying for rooms, obviously you'll need to deduct that from your income, which is 10 silver a night for the room.
You did say
yes.
when I did play my first thing. Well, no, that I got some earnings.
Yeah, you earned your room and board.
Well, no, not that. That we already agreed that I'm working towards that. But when I played my first song, there were people throwing.
Oh yes, that's right. Hang on, let me roll a d20 and see what you got served up to you. You earned 5 gold.
Yeah, 5 gold.
We can afford a roof tonight, Friendrel.
If you feel like sleeping in a bed, I'm not opposed to the idea.
We would sleep under the bed.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Cashin is going to find his own place outside of the inn.
Yeah, he probably has a residence or location since he lives in Waterdeep.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be 1 gold for the night at the Yawning Portal.
All right.
10 silver.
10 silver.
So 1 gold.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is. You can find places that are cheaper, by the way.
Epiphany will take it.
All right, next week we will start up as you leave your places and gather together and go on the hunt. So we will find out what you can learn. The dock ward is to the south of, down near the southern ward is the dock ward that you've got to do, and you can see the, let's see, Net Street and Phillip Lane. Well, let's see, they don't intersect, that's interesting, but the inn will be somewhere in that vicinity, yeah. So maybe it's between the two that it is. Let's see what it says. Between Net Street and Phillip Lane, yes. So it would be somewhere in there that it would be located.
I'm just trying to see where I can find it. Like,
Look for the purple square.
Playable Square, you say?
Zoom out on the map and look for purple square and the pins.
Oh, okay, down there.
Ways out.
So the
And
circle is
we're
where we are currently?
This red oval.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you
Okay,
are right now.
Yeah, I was just trying to keep things straight.
Yep, and you've got to go down to the dock board.
Okay, and just for my own notes, what is the name of the guy again?
That you're looking for, Floon. You get his last name.
Foreign Bloodmar or something like that.
Blagmar. Blagmaar.
Oh wow, I had that. I had that way wrong.
Yeah, pardon the reverse there on it, but anyway.
It's all good.
Balloon Blagmar.
Right. Okay.
Well, I know what I'm doing.
Next week at this time, you will start on the hunt for Floon, and we'll see where it takes you. I wish you all good night, and I wish you good night from Crone's Crucible. We hope you will enjoy the videos and join us live if you haven't yet on Sunday nights at Twitch/MountainMama1 MTN Mama. We have these every Sunday night, so we'll see you then. Join us next time. Good night.
Bye. We love you.
I don't know about that, but